And we are off. Okay, great. So, welcome to day 3 of a celebration of difference, being the wonderful weirdo that you truly be in the world. Enjoying it, having way too much fun as the wonderful weirdo that you are. And now I can see your comments too. Let me just rearrange my screen a little bit so I can kind of see everything at the same time. There we go. Okay, cool. So, man, can I say how much I love X-Men? I love X-Men. People who are just different creatures. And I just had the absolute gift and total pleasure of doing a private session. Actually, I did 2 private sessions this morning. I love doing private sessions and just getting to be with somebody and like contribute and create with them. And with it, absolutely, where I just came from is just with this beautiful humanoid X-Men lady, and who just like is like so, and she might even be listening to this later on. So just going to embarrass you if you are. I won't mention any names. But you know, some people we encounter these people in the world that are just these incredible, like unbelievably kind people and spacious and, you know, free of judgment. Like they don't judge other people. Their gift in the world is actually quite silent in a lot of ways because they just quietly adore people and don't judge them and don't make anybody else wrong. And they want the best for everybody and they want to be the best for everybody. And they like truly contribute to people. And, you know, those like, so just notice, like, you know, how many people do you know like that? But also, like, does that speak to you? You know, is that how you are? And, you know, sometimes we do all kinds of things to sort of cover up that beauty, that kindness, and try to make ourselves more human and try to make ourselves like fit more into this reality. And I just, you know, it's such a gift when you can be with somebody who just has that sense of like no pretense, nothing to prove, and like a true desire for the world to be a greater place, you know. And so often with X-Men humanoids, you know, they have no idea how different they're being. No idea that their kindness and like this quiet kindness and caring, like deep, real, intensely beautiful caring, is an immense potency. And, you know, we just sort of move through the world and think, well, I care a lot about people, but I'm probably just kind of fucked up because I do. And I want people to have a good life. But I'm, you know, we judge ourselves so much, but that level of caring about the world, about the earth, about other people, about our future is one of the most dynamically immense, intense potencies that we have. And we think of potency a lot of times in this reality as this thing of like, I'm powerful, you know, like I can force things into existence, you know, which is like a lot of what's going on in the world right now. You know, we've probably all noticed that. And that's also total impotence as far as I'm concerned. There's absolutely no regard for who you're dealing with, who you're interacting with, what's going on. When people try to do force like that, there's no regard, there's no consideration, there's no kindness, there's no contribution, there's no caring. It's just, this is my agenda. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to look at any other possibilities. You need to do this. We need to do this. This needs to happen. You know, that is impotence. It's abuse, it's invalidation, and it's impotence. Potency is space, kindness, consideration of other people, contribution, caring, generosity, gratitude, vulnerability, allowance. These are all things that actually these are all things that are actually dangerous to this reality. And, we make ourselves X-Men are usually phenomenally caring, potent, kind, incredible creatures who make themselves wrong for being like that, because you don't fit. You do not fit. And, there's also so much awareness that we have of so many things that it's kind of beyond the scope of this conversation. But part of why we tend to just go into so much judgment of ourselves is because we don't realize how much of what goes on in our own worlds is awareness, this very deep, wide, spherical, dynamic, potent awareness of the rest of the world and where everybody else is functioning from, and how people hate themselves and how we don't want them to hate themselves, but we don't even know that we're aware that they hate themselves, and sometimes we think we hate them because we're aware of how much they hate themselves. There's a lot there, it's a very interesting thing to look at, because if you just kind of zoom out and go, well, gosh, I'm aware. I'm so aware of so many things and so many people. And I care more than is maybe good for me, because God damn it, it's hard to care so much, that's a real thing. And so, so one of the ways that we care for ourselves, and the intensity of that vulnerability, and the sort of kind of almost disappointment that can come with it, because we're oh, I care more about other people than they care about themselves. That puts you in a little bit of a predicament, right? But when you're willing to just be with it and be with you and be the space and be wow, this is one of my greatest gifts. This is my greatest potency. This is a huge contribution to the world. It doesn't have to have any words. It doesn't have to have any form of action. There doesn't have to be any doing with it. You don't have to do something to care about people. You don't have to say something to care about people. You don't have to prove it. You may not even realize how much you care about people and the earth and, consciousness and all of these things, the future of the planet, the future of the universe. But you probably do. And when you can acknowledge that about yourself, and acknowledge it as truly one of the most courageous choices that you can make, especially right now, in a climate of dynamic abuse of bodies, abuse of beings, abuse of each other. So much abuse happening on the planet right now. So much abuse and invalidation. And we can make that real by buying into it and going into it and believing it and all that, which a lot of times we do. And then we're we feel sort of stuck there. But as your capacity as being this wonderful weirdo X-Men creature is, if you're willing to be so different as to ignore all of that, ignoring abuse, that's a bit of a tall order, right? And there's a lot more I could say about that too, because it's really we feed it with our engagement with it. Even if you're is it going to end? Is it over yet? Is the pandemic over yet? We feed it with our intrigue, our curiosity, our engagement. We engage with those things with our awareness, and then we feed it. But when you're I'm going to actually really just be present with this reality of kindness and caring and contribution and creating a different future and a greater future, and having no point of view about any of it, and being a different creature in the world. What if you are really, truly a different creature in the world? Truly. And I don't mean that as this fun, esoteric, no, truly. And you're just wearing a mask that makes you look like other people. But what if you truly are a different creature in the world? How do you, what would that be like to move through the world knowing that? How much allowance would you have to have of you to know that, to be that? And what if that became one of the main things that you were fascinated by? Is getting into so much allowance of you as the different creature that you are, and the kindness and the caring and the contribution and the future and the possibilities and the consciousness and the communion. What if that became where you put your energy truly, and not just for others, but for you, so that you could be the gift of that with you and for you? What if the gift that you are willing to be for others and with others, what if you were truly willing to be that with you? What would that be like? What would the world be like? And this is where X-Men begin to use our superpowers to build and expand and build and expand and gather momentum on our very being, which is the thing that changes realities and creates a new reality, a different reality, a beyond reality. When we are willing to engage in that way. Something very different shows up, but you have to be it with you. You have to be that with you. What if you could be truly, like, get the energy of this. So get the energy of somebody that you know that is like, get the energy of like one of the kindest people that you know. Now, what if you could be that kind with you? And I get the energy of the kindness that you be with others. What if you could be that kind with you? This is one of the places where X-Men get very invalidated in this reality, because kindness and caring, they don't create like success and accomplishment in this reality. It's like you're just going to get walked all over by, whatever, the powers that be, or, those who are climbing the ladder or whatever. But that's in a reality that is dying, that if we just choose to ignore it and substantiate and expand this totally new, different reality, where kindness and contribution and caring and vulnerability and gratitude and allowance and potency and communion reign. And they are truly a valuable product with ourselves and with each other. The world changes so fast. And it's starting to happen. It's definitely starting to happen. And what else? What else is possible? It starts with us. Us with us. Use your invitation for today and beyond is to use that X-Men wonderful weirdo superpower of kindness and caring and gentleness and beauty and desire for a greater future. Use it for you. Use it with you. Be it with you. Dare to be that different. Because that is one of the fastest ways to change the world. It just doesn't look like what we thought it was going to look like. All right. Game on. Ready? Break. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Yeah. Thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow. And I'll let you know shortly when I will be live tomorrow. Thank you so much. Mwah! Beautiful. alien creatures of the world, I adore you. Bye for now.